I don't believe that you should just study logic. I don't believe that, because then you'll be like an outcast in society. Let me explain to you why. If you just study logic, imagine you close yourself in a room and you studied 8 hours a day, just logic, and you did that for 20 years, you would be the most annoying person on the earth. You know, I teach my kids logic. You know what I do with my kids? I teach them, I make them, I won't get too complicated, but I make them do a mind pass and I teach them logic. I teach them the rules of logic. I teach them step by step. And I always tell them, never use this in the world. Never go and talk to people about logic and correct people's logic. Don't you ever do that. Okay? Why? Because people are going to get annoyed of you. When people talk, you're going to hear and you're going to understand, but you won't open your mouth and start correcting people because it's annoying. Okay? Socrates used to call himself the gadfly. He was the fly stinging the horse, which is Greece. Greece is the horse, Athens is the horse, and he's stinging and he's bothering and he's frustrating the Greeks. And the Greeks eventually killed him. They made him drink hemlock. They forced him to die. It's a bit more complicated than that. I won't get into it because I don't want to get into on a tangent here, but basically he wanted to die. He was like, you know what? I'll take death. I don't want to. He could have took. He could have been expelled from Greece. He could have took a lesser punishment. He wanted the better punishment. According to him, was better. He wanted a harsher punishment, which was death. Okay, it's a long, complicated story. I won't get into it, but lo and behold, he was killed. Now, I don't think I'm going to get killed. I just understand that most people don't understand the intricacies of logic, and they don't care. That's the thing. People don't care. They only care about what makes sense to them. So I tell my children, look, I'm going to teach you logic. You're going to study it for 20 years, but you're not going to talk about it. Why? Because, first of all, it's annoying. Second of all, it will bring you nothing, unless you go out in the world and master a science. When I say science, I mean anything. Gymnastics is a science. Architecture is a science. I mean, by science, I mean mastering a skill. That's why we always talk training, fitness, philosophy. What can you do out there in the world? What can you change out there in the world? Are you a master of the English language? Are you a master of, I don't know, engineering? Are you a master of mathematics? What can you bring to the world that benefits the world? And then, you know, in our free time, we talk about logic. Why? Because logic is an intrinsic bonus. It gives you an intrinsic plus in life. Yes, it could also help you get more resources in life. But mastering something that's useful, that you go out there in the world. Are you a great mechanic? You can fix people's cars. You need to produce a product or service to function in the world. Once you have that level, then logic is great. Look, the Greeks, they were great farmers. They were good farmers, okay? They had a fertile land and they were able to cultivate farms, and they were slave owners. So they had a lot of leisure time. Now, I'm not pro-slavery or anything. I'm just saying that, look, they had kind of conquered their need for food, shelter, etc. Like they were a great empire. Okay, they weren't an empire yet, but they were going to become a great empire. They had a lot of leisure time to sit around and think. So what I'm telling you guys is, don't study philosophy and have no skill. Skill first, then once we have leisure time, we'll do philosophy. Skill first, then we have leisure time and we do philosophy. That's my formula. That's how I see things. And this is how it's outlined basically in the Platonic works. Plato would tell you that's how you do it. Okay, you don't start with philosophy, you start with gymnastics. Then you find a trade. And then later when you're 30 plus, then we start teaching you philosophy. We don't teach you philosophy straight from the bat. So for my kids, I teach them wrestling first, then I teach them philosophy. I teach them academics first, then I teach them philosophy. Do you like Zizek? Okay, you spend a lot of money on me, so I'm going to answer that question. Guys, Zizek said something, I thought it was ridiculous. You guys tell me, oh, look at Zizek, look at Zizek. I put on Zizek. You know what he says? Let me put on Zizek for you. He said something so ridiculous. Let's listen to Zizek together.
Hey everybody, it's me, Julian. Today I'm going to be...
Sorry, wrong one.
I think wisdom is the most disgusting thing you can imagine. Wisdom is the most conformist thing you can imagine. Once I made a mental experiment. Why are we running after this miserable earthly pleasures, the only satisfaction is eternity. If I were to say it with proper pathos, it would sound a deep thing to say. Now, let's say the opposite. Why run after the specter of eternity? Carpe diem. Grasp what you have here. It sounds wise. Now I will say the third option. Why be caught in a contrast between eternity and temporary existence? The true wisdom is to see eternity in fleeting temporary pleasures. It is wise. Then I say the fourth variation. We are forever condemned between the two. A wise man accept this. You know, whatever I say, that's my point. You can sell it as a wisdom.
Okay, did you guys make any sense of that? Like, I studied logic for 20 years. Like, I can't tell you what this man is trying to say. He's saying, look, oh, here's a better clip. Let's hear it more talk about wisdom. Okay, let's hear.
The most disgusting thing you can imagine.
Whoa, okay.
Oh, never mind. It's a reaction video. Hold on. Wisdom is the most disgusting thing you can imagine. He was basically saying, look, I can make anything seem wise. That's what I got from it. Wisdom sucks. It's a self-defeating position. Wisdom has a definition to it. Wisdom is the application of knowledge in a timely manner. Application of knowledge in a creative manner. He's saying, oh, that's no good. So is he wise for saying that? If he is, then he sucks because he says wisdom sucks. If he's not wise for saying it, then he didn't apply knowledge in a creative way. It's a self-defeating position. It's like saying logic is bad. Oh, how do you know that? Well, here's my argument for why logic is bad. It's a self-defeating position. You're trying to use reason to defy reason. He's trying to be wise to say that wisdom sucks. Wisdom is bad. Wisdom, like, it's an absurdity. It doesn't make any sense. Is he saying that logic is bad? He's going to give us a logical argument for why logic is bad? That would be a self-defeating position. You can't use wisdom to defeat wisdom. You can't use logic to defeat logic. It's we call a self-defeating position. This is the clip that you guys gave me. Like, I just don't get it. Why are people so hot on Zizek? Explain to me, what am I missing here? Like, I've never heard of the guy, and I gave him a listen, and I found it to be absurd. He was basically saying that wisdom is dumb. Wisdom sucks. You can make anything sound wise. I don't agree. I highly don't agree. You can make anything sound wise. I think maybe to a layman, not to a trained thinker. A trained thinker is not going to see a bumper sticker and say, hey, you know what? That's really deep and true. No, we don't. Logicians don't behave this way. So I think what he's trying to say is, look, you can make anything sound wise to the general population. That I might agree with him. That some things that were not wise were passed off as wisdom by general population because that's the level of their thinking. But it doesn't make it wise. It's the appearance of wisdom. It's the appearance of wisdom that sucks, I think, is what he should be saying. If he said, look, the appearance of wisdom, unauthentic wisdom, sucks. It's shit. Okay, I would believe him. I would tell him, look, you're right. But he's saying wisdom sucks. Wisdom is dumb. I don't know why people keep sending me Zizek. Guys, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe he has a better works than this, but I was really not impressed with his works.